There are lots of different mouldings available to finish off areas such as stair tops. Here we're using an L section aluminium as we're finishing off onto carpet. These should be fitted as neatly as possible, as they make a great deal of difference to the look of the finished job. Here the fitter is dealing with an area in between two different floors. This is finished off with a T-section or a packer and a specially shaped flat plate. The advantage of these is that they allow an extra expansion gap in between two areas of flooring. The strip is also covered by the door once it is closed. Fitting around radiator pipes is easy. First mark the position of the pipe. Then drill a clearance hole. Here we're drilling a 35mm hole to go around a 15mm pipe. Next, mark out a wedge shape at the back of the hole. This should then be cut with a very fine saw, such as a small tenon saw or a hacksaw. The wedge can then be test fitted back into the hole. The board should then slide easily around the pipe, the wedge glued back in position, and then a special radiator pipe cover to neatly finish off the job. Fitting skirting boards over a hardwood floor is a skilled job, as no hardwood floor is perfectly flat or straight. The skirting boards need to be pre-installed and then marked and scribed to exactly match the floor. This is done by choosing the largest gap and then using a pencil or a pencil and a block to mark a line all the way around the bottom of the skirting boards. The boards then need to be planed exactly to the shape. External corners on skirting boards need to be simply mitered. Internal corners, however, need to be scribed or cut to the shape of the skirting board. This is done by cutting a 45-degree mitre, and then the edge of that mitre shows the shape of the skirting board which has to be cut. This is first done with a jigsaw, cutting as close to the shape as possible. It can then be finished off with small files, filing carefully to the exact shape and the line that you have marked. This should then give a perfect scribe. And the internal corner of the skirting board should fit neatly together. If you have purchased a rustic, unfinished floor, you may want to fill and sand it. This is done with a mixture of very fine sanding dust from the floor and a special resin. I prefer to put a coat of finish on first before filling the floor. This makes final sanding easier and stops the filler being pushed into the grain of the wood. When the filler's finally dried, it can be sanded off to a smooth finish. Then the final coat of finish can finally be applied. There are many different types of floor finishes on the market today. These can be broadly broken down into two different sections: the oil type of finishes and the lacquered finishes. Lacquers are normally applied with a roller and oils applied with a brush or spatula. Floor preparation is all important, and sanding should be done down to 120 or 150 grit. This can be done easily by hand in smaller areas. After sanding, the floor should be vacuumed clean, and then the oil can be applied. This is brushed in thinly in line with the grain. Here we see the finished result. Lacquers normally have a base coat. This one has an oil modified base coat, so you can have a lacquer with the look of an oil. The one being used here is a 2-pack, which is used in industrial areas of high traffic. A hardener is mixed in the right quantity with the lacquer. This is then carefully applied with a roller. This brown oak floor looks absolutely stunning when finished.